Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we check our symptoms on WebMD to see if we have chip fever. I cannot help you, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society cannot help you with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including a limited time event coming to Donkey Kong Bananza. And then on Thursday, we are looking back at our favorite games from 5, 10, 15, and 20 years ago. But Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great, although I do have to tell you something kind of devastating that happened to me. I went to the grocery store recently and bought a container of peanut butter, as I am wont to do.
We say a container, like a jar?
Like a jar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a plastic container.
I just didn't know if like other people were doing it differently.
No.
Okay.
I have a jar. It's
okay.
a jar.
Okay, good.
And I buy...
Everything sounds good so far.
Yeah, I know. I buy Jif Natural. That's what I buy. And so I get it home.
Chunky or smooth?
Well, this is smooth.
Okay.
So I get it home, and it's a couple of days later. You know, the old container is finished. I lovingly put it in the trash, and then I'm ready to open this new container. And I open up, I take off the seal, and it's chunky.
Yeah. So you got the Jif Chunky
On accident.
peanut butter.
What am I gonna? I'm eating it because, but I can't remember the last time that I had crunchy peanut butter before this. It's been a really long time, and I have to say, I kind of get it if the ratio of like peanut butter to peanuts was more favorable to the like creamy part of it, because I feel like I'm just putting peanuts on on bread.
See, I think you have to be like careful though, because sometimes if the peanut butter is too creamy, as in if the peanut butter is too like runny almost, then the difference between the chunks of peanuts and the butter itself is too great.
Right.
And like then
what I'm saying is I want less peanuts in my chunky peanut butter.
You want fewer
if there was like a midpoint.
Right, yes. This is like the Gatorade for you. You need to get a full sugar Gatorade and a half sugar Gatorade and mix them together. Is that a conversation we had on mic?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. When I was doing my surgery prep, yeah, exactly. So maybe that is what I need to do then, is get a jar of smooth, creamy peanut butter and a jar of crunchy peanut butter, and then make my own.
Yes. So here,
with the ratio that I believe is to be correct.
Choosing. Right. Also, I like the different kinds of terminology that's being thrown around here. Smooth and what was
creamy.
It?
Creamy is what it's
Smooth and creamy are like the two different ways, and also crunchy and chunky.
Right.
Ways
crunchy.
That we prefer to. I think crunchy is probably what it's called.
I'm pretty sure it is as well.
The Jif, like the brand of it, is called Super Chunk though, or it says Super Chunk on it.
Really?
I think so.
Oh. Because I wouldn't know, because if I see like CH on a peanut butter, normally I'm running away.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe it was fate that I happened to pick up this, because some people, you're not necessarily looking.
Are born great.
Exactly. But some people have greatness thrust upon them.
Right.
And maybe
like you in this instance
where I'm going to invent some like mid-grade.
Yes.
Chunky, crunchy peanut butter.
You're gonna need to make up the term for it.
You're right.
Mark, I'm gonna do a programming discussion on mic right now.
Okay.
So we have in our notes here that we are doing games from the last 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. In the past, when we've done this exercise, it's been 5, 10, 20, and 30. We skip 25 and we do 30.
Oh.
Which
is that true?
Yeah, I just looked it up while we were talking. You can look it up too if you want, but I looked it up.
Yeah, I thought when we've done this in the past, okay, yes. So you're saying that we should do that instead. Oh
We
yeah,
should-
5, 10, 20, and 30 years.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's actually what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Is 5, 10, and 5, 10, 20, and 30 years.
Great.
All right, great. Very good. If people would like to support us and you can hear these sorts of process conversations happening on mic organically behind a paywall, you can head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the movies.
Yes, where Patrick and I are going to the movies, sometimes with a special guest, to watch and then talk about that movie. We just released an episode about Tron Ares.
Which we went to. It was just a twosies.
Yeah,
just
that's
you and me.
right.
That's right.
Classic twosies. And but we also have discussions about One Battle After Another, The Naked Gun, The Fantastic Four First Steps, and Superman. All great discussions, all available on the Patreon.
And if you are not interested in supporting us at the 8-bit or above level, there's material out there for 4-bit subscribers. And if you want to follow us for free, the entire first season of the NCS Detective Club is up there for free. So just head on over to Patreon. Follow, won't cost you anything. You'll get more episodes of us. There's a 3-hour-long episode of you and I talking about 2 episodes of
Miss Marple.
Miss Marple. That's right. So yeah, there's more us out there if you if you want it. You can also join our Discord. All you gotta do is email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. We will send you an invitation. You can pop on in there and talk about what's going on in the world of Nintendo. There's a new Pokemon game. People are playing it. So if you want to be in on that conversation, do that. Get in there. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. I just mentioned it, so should we stay on Pokemon Legends?
Yeah, I want to hear
ZA
about
for
your experience.
a little bit. Going into picking up the game, and I had it pre-ordered digitally. Used my voucher and then spent the $10 to upgrade it to the Switch 2 version. But going into it, I had forgotten entirely who the starters were, and so I was like, "This is gonna be a fun surprise." And I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna have this reaction to it in the moment. I ended up going with the Tepig. He's a little fire pig, and I wasn't, because it's the Chikorita, it's the Tepig, and the Totodile, and I didn't really think any of them were all that great. I feel like I usually have a response to one of the starters, right? And I didn't really hear. But after selecting Tepig, he kind of waddled over to me, and I was like, I made the right choice.
Oh, okay, good.
It was cute, and I liked it, and I've already evolved him once, so they only look cute like that for a brief window.
It's true.
It's a real bummer always. But I'm still early goings in this. I played a little bit on Friday morning, and then kind of for a long stretch on Friday evening. So put a couple hours into it. I am rank X at the moment, and I think the game is really fun, and you can say whatever you want about the way it looks. I kind of think it's very clean and performs very well. It is maybe there's something very sterile about the Pokemon house style at this point, but everything is, all the characters are way more expressive than I'm used to seeing of the Pokemon characters. All of the dialogue is acted, if not voice acted. It's not voice acted. There's no voice acting in the game. But they move their lips when they talk, and they are expressing the emotions that go with the things they're saying. To the point where I'm kind of they really should be voice acting these things. Because I'm missing the performance because I'm reading the text at the bottom of the screen, like when you're watching a subtitled movie and you forget that you should be looking at faces too. But yeah, I think it's super fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think at least as much as I liked Arceus. And yeah, I'm just having a blast.
Yeah, that was kind of that was going to be my question. I know it's been a few years, but how it compares to the opening hours of Arceus, because I feel like that game I don't know. They both share the Legends title, but they seem so different in what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sort of like commonality between them and the thing that makes them different from like um Scarlet and Violet, and Sword and Shield in particular, like Scarlet and Violet sort of feels like it's on the like same spectrum as these two Legends games, um, but are decidedly more actiony, right? In RCS, like you can move around during the fights, but it doesn't really change that much or affect that much. But there's like an action component of like you can position yourself to throw Pokeballs at Pokemon to catch them, and where you are in relationship to the Pokemon will, change your success rate. You can be hiding in the grass. You can surprise them. You can sneak up on them. If they get mad and attack you, you have to dodge out of the way. And so all of that is in ZA as well, except if you, all of your Pokemon's moves are on like cooldowns, like real time cooldowns, and they're all on separate cooldowns. So normally in a Pokemon game, you use a move and then you have to wait for your next turn to use like the next move. But like I can use Quick Attack and then Growl is ready right away after it. And so that's a very like you can kind of cycle through your set of 4 moves. But if you are not targeting your opponent's Pokemon, like with the ZL button, the Pokemon like runs back to you. So if you want to get your guy out of the way of the attacks of this enemy Pokemon, you can do it. And then like move him back into position to start attacking. So like it's not fair to call it like an action RPG, and it's several steps removed from like the Final Fantasy VII, remake battle system or anything like that. But it does like scratch a little bit of an actiony itch for me.
So if you can retreat your Pokemon, can the like Pokemon that you're fighting, can they also pull back?
So they can. I've not seen that used in a way from like the enemy trainers
Uh-huh.
that has like thwarted my plans at all yet. So I don't know if they get smarter later on or something, or if like I'll get into like online trainer battles and like online like real people will be doing it. But I assume that they can.
And then if you pull back like really far, does the battle just like
The
end?
battle can just end. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And it does the thing where when you knock a Pokemon out, then you have an opportunity to throw a ball at it and catch it.
Uh-huh.
Which is for some reason bewilderingly not Pokemon standard, where like if you accidentally deal too much damage to it, you kill it, and
Right.
then like how are you supposed to catch it? So I like that. Every night the game allows you to do battle with a trainer who is on the same path that you are, trying to battle their way up rank Z to rank A. And you do that by earning points in these like battle areas. You need to earn enough points to qualify for that match, and then you can rank up. They're called promotion matches. And all of these little like nighttime things are like kind of mini gyms, because they are these gauntlets where you're fighting trainers, and some of them you can sneak up on and like have a little bit of an advantage of attack. And you earn some points for each one of them that you beat. In addition to that, you can earn points by collecting these cards that are in the area, and the cards have specific either win or battle conditions. So it'll be like use an electric move, or use a move that is super effective. It doesn't matter what type, or knock out a Pokemon using a fighting style move. And so you'll get bonus points, so you'll be able to fight the promotion match earlier. And all of that is just like very fun and like dynamic and cool. And I think the game is very well considered. I like it a lot.
Nice. Do you have a sense? I mean, I know you're still early in it, but do you have a sense of, is it something that you are feeling like, I think I could make it all the way through this? Or do you like, I don't know, it might just be too early to tell.
It's too early to tell. I mean, I'm going on a trip this weekend, so I will be bringing my Switch, and so it's possible that I end up putting a lot of time into it. Or problem though is that I'm also still playing Hades 2, and I think so. I've done multiple clears on both the underworld and on the surface. and I believe that I have the vague shape of the end game in sight. Like I get what I think what I need to do in order to actually roll credits on the game. But I don't know how much longer that's going to take me to do. It
Right.
may still be a very long time. And Pokemon Legends ZA is a good game. Hades 2 is a great game. So, and I don't really have too much more to report about my experience with Hades 2 other than like just as always, it continually reveals like levels of its metagame that are tied into like the narrative and your sort of expanding goal throughout the game. And it's just very good and satisfying, and I love it.
It's really impressive that they've done it again.
Yeah. Well, and like done it again in a way that like the original, now in retrospect, like falls a little bit short. That like
That's pretty incredible.
its repetition of like the main run, is cool, and they like unfold it a little bit more, but it's not like revelatory as you go on. This has been revelatory.
Yeah, I mean that's high praise.
Yeah, I just think it's quite good, Mark.
Well, on my end, last week was all about Super Mario Galaxy 2, and I knew that I had to get back to Dragon Quest 3
Here we go.
HD2D.
Yeah.
And if not, I would just drop it entirely. So this week I did. I put away Super Mario Galaxy 2 for now.
Childish things.
And I did focus my attention on Dragon Quest 3 HD2D, but I'm at a point where I have to grind because I tried going through one of the little like dungeon things and I was just getting my butt kicked. And I kept, having to fast travel back to a town that was like nearby the dungeon I was trying to get through and healing. And I'm like, do you know what? I did that like 2 times. And I was like, I just got to walk around and do some grinding, which is my experience from Dragon Quest 9 was also that I had to like grind quite a bit. But then my memory of playing Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of the Loose Phage Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch is that I did not spend any time grinding in that game. My memory, anyways, is that I did not have to grind in that game.
I remember taking like one afternoon, maybe like an hour, right? Hour and a half, just like grind something out. Just so, because like I had reached a point where I was like, this is a little bit more difficult than I want it to be. And then I was just like a freight train through the rest of the game. Or at least until like there's a pretty huge difficulty spike after the second act. If you continue to play after that, it's kind of, optional. And that's where I dropped out. But because I think it would require some like serious grinding.
Yeah. So it's not that it's bad necessarily, it's just not the most fun to not be making any forward progress.
Totally.
And just be like, I just gotta keep killing these guys until my characters level up. The other thing is that there's like a system in the game, and I'm still early going, so I'm expecting it to reveal itself more. Like I can't imagine that I'm just supposed to intuit how it's supposed to work, where you can change. They're not like really like, I mean, I guess maybe you describe them as jobs, but you find all these different like books or different like items that you can equip that turn you into like a slugger or like all these there's a bunch of different ones.
Rusty slugger?
And I don't really know what I should be doing. You can also like go back to the original town and switch out party members, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not sure if I am missing something or if I'm just not far enough along for the game to have like tutorialized it for me. But like, so this week, not a ton of progress, like made it to this area and then realized, I've got to grind it out for a little bit. And so I was just like spending some time listening to a podcast and grinding. So not like the most exciting adventures in Dragon Quest 3 this week, but I feel determined to make progress in it.
Well, and you and I both saw Tron Ares, of course.
Yes, that's right.
Seemingly tangentially related to video games.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Kinda. Maybe less so than any of the previous entries in the Tron franchise. The franchise?
Tronchise?
I don't know. I cannot crack it for some reason. Yeah, so do you think as you move into this week of possible game playing, that you will drift back to Mario Galaxy? Or do
No,
you feel
I
like you're out
really
of it
do
for a
feel
while?
like a certain amount of determination to just like grit my teeth and continue to advance in Dragon
Yeah.
Quest 3. I just hate this nagging feeling that I'm like missing something or not
Right.
playing optimally and it's like holding me back. But also maybe it's just a fairly faithful recreation of an old RPG and you just have to grind in those sometimes.
Yeah, well, and like remember that it is not just like an old RPG. Like when we play a lot of RPG remakes now, they're remakes or remasters of like PlayStation games or Super NES games. Dragon Quest 3 was an NES game.
Right.
Like that's an old game.
Also, it doesn't have any because it's like a full-on remake. Doesn't have any of like the quality of life things that like when I played the Chrono Cross.
Right.
Um, and you
I
could
love
like
yes. How much those quality of life things are kind of like and
cheap.
just skip this.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, just give me like 200% of the experience for
Right.
killing enemies.
And I'll
Yeah.
do that for a little bit and then I'm just going to turn off random encounters.
Right, right. Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Too bad it's not in Dragon Quest 3. All right, well, that is what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Well, first, let's check in on Nintendo Music. You know, last week, Nintendo didn't post anything, but this week, the update is Metroid 2 Return of Samus for the Game Boy.
Yeah, I mean, always a little strange when they put a Game Boy score on here.
Yeah.
18 tracks, 30 minutes of music, kind of a lot for a
Okay,
Game
that
Boy
is.
game.
That is.
Title screen. What is? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the shrill sounds of the Game Boy.
God, it does sound like a ghost is like.
But interesting that this week they didn't also put the Samus Returns remake on there. Just because last week we got, or I guess 2 weeks ago, we had Thousand Year Door, both the GameCube and Switch version were released at the same time.
So that is true. But those versions are probably pretty similar to each other, right?
Probably.
Whereas Samus Returns and Return of Samus, wildly different scores, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm sure that's true. But then moving on to like new releases on Thursday, October 23rd, Persona 3 Reload is released on Switch 2. This was featured in that July Partner Showcase Direct.
Mm-hmm.
And then also on Thursday, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted is released on Switch and Switch 2. Another one in that July Partner Showcase Direct. And we learned last week that it takes advantage of game share, so you can share it with somebody else to play local 2-player co-op or PvP.
It also looks like Power Wash Simulator 2 is coming out.
Oh
on
yeah, I
Thursday.
did. I totally missed that.
That 2 was also was it in the partner direct or was it like the full Nintendo Direct?
Yeah, I think my memory is that it was in the Partner Showcase.
It was in one or the other.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then on Friday, also in the Partner Showcase Direct, I think is Once Upon a Katamari, which is the first new Katamari game in like 14 years or something like that.
Yeah, so
Releases on Switch.
So it seems like a lot of those like those partner games or like Nintendo Direct games are coming home to roost now, right?
Yeah.
Like we are getting to the end of October already, if you can believe it, which means that we're going to be coming up on, you know, like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, coming up real soon, and then Kirby Air Riders after that. We're cruising into the end of the year here. And even though we had gotten that refresh of like, here's, you know, other new stuff that we can expect from Nintendo on Switch and Switch 2 in the next year or whatever, that we are coming up against those that we actually have dates for.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I guess are still kind of the things that we've known about since the Switch 2 reveal, right? Age of Imprisonment, Kirby, and Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. But that's pretty much it. I think that's everything I wanted to call out on new releases.
Okay, great. Then let us close this segment out. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers did not play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. for the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, it is a spooky season, October. So we thought we would try to how well can we place the Scream movies in a list from highest box office to lowest box office.
That's right. We're going to try to order the Scream movies by box office gross.
Yes, that is a better way to say what I just said.
So,
So first of all, just there are 7 movies. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. The Scream franchise has grossed over 910 million. Yeah, 910 million at the box office.
Okay, almost $1 billion grosser. Yeah, right. Crazy.
What?
Here's my guess.
Yes.
I want to say that one of the original 3 is the highest grossing, and I want to say that it's 2.
So 2 was a very high. So two is the second highest.
Okay. You're just looking at a list.
I'm just looking at a list.
So we're not trying to order it.
Well, now you are. Here's the thing. I don't know how to do this otherwise. Okay. Do you want me to stop looking?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, okay. I will be trying to order a list.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and then I give you hints.
Okay, that's great. I love this.
So Scream 2 made approximately 172.4 million.
Okay.
And it is the second highest grossing.
Okay. So then... yeah. So then the
question
is...
Did I break the whole premise of this?
No, it's fine.
Okay,
one of us is ranking. One of us is ordering them.
Sure.
Okay. So here's where my mind is at.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking it's possible that the first movie is the highest grossing, and then the third movie is the third highest grossing. The first 3 are it just goes 1, 2, 3.
So 1 is the highest grossing at 173 million. So it just edges out Scream 2.
Okay.
And the first Scream was a phenomenon, right? So it makes sense that it would be highest grossing. But 3 is not the third highest.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty confident the third highest is not 4. So then I'm going to guess that it is 5 then, when it rebooted.
Right, but the reboot happened in the pandemic, right? Or sort of 2022.
Yeah.
So no.
But wait, isn't 2022 is not the most recent Scream movie?
No.
When did the most recent Scream movie come out?
Hold on. Yes, that's right. No, because Scream 6 came out in 2023.
So we had 5, 6, and then 7 all come out with it. They all released 1 year after the other.
Okay, so hold on. So I guess you know what? I guess I misspoke before. There are only 6 of them.
Okay.
There are only 6.
Okay,
Scream
they're making 7.
They're making 7.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, here's a trilogy, and then 4 is its own animal, and then they sort of started a new trilogy, but now it's unclear because the main cast is not Jenna Ortega and what's her name are not returning for the last
7.
one. Right.
Okay.
So there are only 6. I apologize.
Okay, so there's 6.
And there was a TV show, but we're not going to talk about it.
Okay, so I'm
Scream
gonna guess...
1 is number 1. Scream 2 is number 2.
Okay, so I'm going to guess... Now I'm going to guess that number 6 is
third.
The third highest grossing.
That's right.
And then I'm going to guess number 3.
And
then I'm going to guess number 5. And then I'm going to guess number 4.
Yes, number 4 is the least successful one at the box office.
And
I like that movie.
I have only seen 1, 2, and 3. And I only saw Scream when I was in my 20s. I did not see it.
Yeah.
Any of them growing up. So yeah, I've seen the first 3.
Too scary.
I was pretty
young.
You were
young,
and I wasn't allowed to see R-rated movies.
Right.
So
I was young too, but I remember us being sneaky about it.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend in 7th grade maybe who did see Scream 2, and then she called me on the phone and recounted it to me.
Yeah.
And then I saw Scream 2 years later, and I was like, oh, she was just making it up. She didn't see Scream 2.
I love that.
Yeah.
We were accompanied today by the 8-bit big band. All right, Mark, let's get into the news. Oh, that is still just queuing the 433. Mark, let's get into the news.
Donkey Kong Bonanza is hosting a new event inside the Emerald Rush DLC called Chip Fever. Or at least, right now it's only on the Japanese website, so that's like the translation
Got
of the
it.
name. So who knows? Maybe it'll actually end up being called something else when
Here's the thing. They like to call things fever, right? Mario Tennis Fever?
they do. Yeah, yeah.
Chip Fever, very funny. It feels like someone that you would meet, like
it does.
trying to
Yes.
buy a used car.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, all right, put away the grease gun, Chip Fever. I'm just
Yeah.
here for a car. You know what I mean?
This is just exploratory. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna buy anything today, Chip Fever.
During the event,
Yeah, I was working with Chip Fever.
Chip. We all love Chip. During the event, you collect as much ore as possible using only chip-based perks like Chip Hoarder or Chip Negotiator.
Well, that's interesting.
And then if you earn a certain amount of points during the event, you'll earn 2 new statues that you can place on DK Island, Kong Bonanza, and then one of On Guard.
So a little bit strange that a Kong Bonanza statue wouldn't already be in the. All right, I guess maybe there aren't Bonanza statues. I have not collected them.
Yeah,
all,
that's
so,
what I was gonna say. This actually reminded me that I have not collected, I think, any of the statues on DK
you don't
Island,
have any of them,
other than the one that like you get at the very beginning from Squawks. That when they're like tutorializing the whole thing, and it's like, oh, you should go over and talk to Squawks.
You should tell Squawks to go get a statue and then tip him. You're not paying him for the statue, but you're tipping him.
That's right. That's right. But no, I haven't gotten any of them. Also interesting that they have On Guard in here, who is not featured in the game at all, but is of course an animal buddy of note from the Donkey Kong Country series.
The only animal buddy that survives to Bonanza, this is what I choose to believe that the rest have died off, is Rambi.
Yeah, that's right.
But and I guess Squawks if you want to count him. But only in this the DK Island DLC. So.
But yeah, it starts at 1 a.m. Pacific time next Tuesday, October 28th, and then runs through November 4th. So have a while to check it out.
That's fun. That's fun. This is cool. I like this. It's a little strange that, like the Emerald Rush feels so much like a multiplayer kind of thing. Like it feels very much like Tetris 99 or I guess like other online stuff. So that an event like this feels normal to me. Even though like it's a single player game, you could like pop an event anytime you want. But like or they could give you the control to pop the event anytime you want. It's just interesting that like they are choosing these kind of deliberate moments to drive people back to it. Sort of feel that way about like the DLC in the first place, right? The game had been out for like a month when Emerald Rush was announced. And like for me, it's been on the perfect cadence of like I play the game a lot. I beat it and then was like, hey, cool, I'm gonna let that rest. No, I actually 100%ed it. And then maybe like 5 days after I decided to put it down, here comes the DLC, and I was like, all right, I'm not so far removed from it that I've forgotten how to play or lost my interest in the game. But it wasn't so recent to me, like playing it, that I didn't want to play more. And I feel like this is kind of true for this too.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I haven't played it since I like rolled credits basically on the first part of the experience and
of the Emerald
of the DLC. Yeah. But yeah, like this seems like a perfect opportunity to jump back in. Also, they're saying that there will be another event later this year. So it sounds like there's the possibility that this becomes a regular thing where they run these limited time events. I wonder how it'll work. Like, I know we don't have that long to find out, just a week. But like, do you talk to Void Kong and he's like, I'm also doing this Chip Rush thing.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Do you want to turn that on?
I mean, it'll be like a diegetic story thing, right? Because like every part of this game like happens like to the characters, and like nothing is really menu based. So like I have to assume that it'll be.
But I guess what I'm saying is I wonder if it's optional or if it is like anytime you play.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, find out.
Yeah, but it's cool. I think it's cool that they're doing this. So here's a question for you.
Well, hold on.
Oh yeah,
I,
go
I,
ahead.
I just want to stay on this for a second. Because it does it not seem like this is the kind of thing that should be happening in Mario Kart World?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it does.
Like even just these and that's a multiplayer game too, right? That they could be setting up especially because there are so many different like tracks through that the world, where it's like, why are they not like highlighting one of those for like online player or something like that? Or
Right. Or I mean, are they? Maybe they are. Maybe they are
it's a
running
good
like
point. I guess I
tournaments
don't
and
really
I'm
know.
just not tapped into it. But also
I feel
like
like we would see it
you would
somewhere.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah. When we're like curating, like the episode or something. I haven't really seen
Yeah,
anything like
or
that come
just
up.
like seeing it on like the like news channel on
Right.
a Switch or whatever. I don't, it's not called news channel. That's an old Wii terminology. Or like I continue to play Mario Kart World, and I don't see like there's nothing in that game being like a little usually, right?
Right.
Something
That
would
there's
pop
like an
up being
event
like there's
going
an
on.
event.
Also seems like you could do something in free roam where it's like all the NPCs are Goombas for some reason. Like
Right.
just switching up the world somehow. Yeah, it's interesting that Mario Kart World seems to
It's like they
just
put it
kind of
out
like,
and they're
yeah,
like,
doing its own
that's what it
thing.
is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and also like remember how it was like, oh yeah, Pauline and Donkey Kong, they've got all these kinds of costumes in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Of course, we're going to see more costumes for them in Mario Kart World. They each only have one alternate costume. It's a no-brainer. That's why they were holding back on them, because they wanted to save them for this game. And they're just
Yeah, it's
it
just
does
like
not seem
done
like
seemingly.
that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is really interesting. Uh
Now
yeah.
you may ask your question.
Well, do I need to start believing in Resident Evil rumors again? Like, is my heart ready for this?
Do you recall what made you stop believing Resident Evil rumors?
And look, they're rumors, so it's my own fault, right?
Right.
For plans change, people are wrong, like it happens. But there was a persistent rumor for a really long time that kind of like how with Monster Hunter, how they had Monster Hunter World and then Monster Hunter Rise that was made specific for the Switch.
Yes.
That Capcom was working on a Resident Evil game specifically
Ooh,
targeted
yeah.
for the Switch. Obviously, that never happened, right? And with when I basically went Nintendo only for playing, like for real, like I got rid of my PlayStation 4. I just only have then Resident Evil became a series that I was following less,
Right.
because
There was nothing for you to play,
Yeah,
unless you wanted to
exactly.
play cloud versions, and you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's basically why I closed off my heart to Resident Evil rumors. But after Resident Evil Requiem, there was that rumor that it was going to be on Switch 2 and PlayStation 4, and then like a week later, there was a Nintendo Direct and it was announced there. So am I ready to believe that there is a Resident Evil 0 remake in the works? And
Mark, I'm ready to believe that. Basically, always.
well, okay. On top of that, in the articles about a Resident Evil 0 remake being in the works, there's also apparently it has been around for a while that a Code Veronica remake is on the way for 2027.
And that is something that I cannot let my heart even begin to believe.
It would hurt you too much.
It would hurt
I
me
know.
so much
I
if it
know.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, like, it sort of seems inevitable, right?
For sure.
That like the mainline one, they remade 2, 3, and 4, and like 2 and 4 were such big deals in their initial release that I was like, yeah, of course they were going to get to those. Sort of surprised they did 3.
Yeah,
you know. And like Code Veronica is just as big as is Resident Evil 3, right? Like, and 0 is probably like kind of a step down there. But also like a great game that I'd love to revisit.
Also, it feels like 4 was like remaking 4 was such a big deal in my mind, just because 4 is such like a monumental game, and so it makes sense to me after doing 4 that they would kind of like go backwards in a way, to do cover Veronica, cover 0, and then at that point, it's like 2030, and maybe they're looking at remaking 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you get to remaking 5 is such a like big step in some direction. I don't want to say forward necessarily, but it is such a big step, like on the progression that like 4 started off on. And like the remakes have all had like a component of 4 to them, right? This sort of like over the shoulder, a little bit more action based, but still very like atmospheric and scary. That's how like I would describe the gameplay of 2 and 3 remake and 4 remake, but 4 remake even gets like a little bit more actiony and arcadey than the original 4. But like I sort of feel like if they do get around to remaking 5, that's got to be like a like bigger conceptual thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And especially like taking that further, like 6, like remaking 6.
Right.
But I think what could be interesting about a Resident Evil 0 remake specifically is that I feel like that game doesn't have a very good reputation. And so
Mhm.
it would be really interesting to see what a remake does for how that game is perceived.
Yeah, one of the things that Zero does, which was so strange, is that you controlled these two characters and like swap between them in real time, right? Could you physically control them at the same time?
I don't remember. It's been so long since I messed around with 0. I never beat that game.
I sort of like my vague memory is that you could like control the other one while you had like your main either Billy or Rebecca. Um and I just like wonder how they're going to deal with that, like hot swapping the characters. If there's like an AI component to the other player, or if it's you can join other people's games and like play it
That'd be
co-op,
cool.
which is kind of a 6/5 thing as well. But yeah, I'm curious how they deal with that. And those two characters are so different, right? Like by the time you get to 6, the like characters that are paired up are basically the same. But like Rebecca is like small and fast and weak, and Billy is huge and can take a ton of damage. And so they're just like you use them for different purposes. Would they carry that through to the like either multiplayer or I don't know. I'm just curious.
Right, yeah. So this rumor comes from the website MP First, and they're saying that it's in the works. The code name is Chambers, referencing the character Rebecca Chambers,
Yes.
like you mentioned. Um, they speculate that voice and performance capture work started in 2024, and that John McLaren, who played Star-Lord in the 2021 Guardians of the Galaxy game, has a listing on his resume for Project Chamber. So they think that he's probably playing Billy Cohen.
Cool.
And yeah, but the doubly shocking part to me of all of this is that Dusk Golem, who's a well-known Resident Evil like insider, and who is the one who started the rumors about Requiem coming to Switch 2, says that Capcom's current roadmap, as it stands right now, is a Code Veronica remake in 2027, and then a RE0 remake in 2028.
Oh, so we think Code Veronica before
Yeah,
Zero.
that's the rumor.
That's cool.
But that's why I'm like, what? There was a Code Veronica remake that was like rumored before I even heard about Resident Evil 0? This is what made me like realize, do I need to be following Resident Evil rumors
maybe you
more
do.
closely
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
I think you need to be plugged in, Mark. If there's a Code Veronica remake, like get out of here. I love that game so much.
It's another game that I've never beaten. I've never beaten Code Veronica. I'm Requiem being on Switch 2 has really put me into like Resident Evil Overdrive a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I plan to buy 7 and Village and Requiem like on Switch 2, and I hope to like go through all of them because 6 will still be the outlier that I haven't like we dabbled with it for like an
just a little
hour,
bit.
but I just had no desire to play 6. But 7 seems like a good kind of like jumping back in point.
The real problem with 6 is that we were playing at split screen. I feel like we shouldn't have done that. I feel like we should have had like our separate switches and just played like online.
Yeah.
Does it work that way? It must, right?
I would think so.
The split screen is so weird because it just takes like two widescreen images and instead of like just presenting it with like a straight line down the
Oh,
middle,
it like offset
they were
them.
like offset,
Yeah, that's
letterboxed things.
I forgot about that.
It was a very strange presentation.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm my Resident Evil love burns anew, I think.
I love this for you, Mark.
Last week we talked about reports that Nintendo had been breached by the hacking group Crimson Collective. And at the time, Nintendo hadn't made any statements about the hack at all. But there was discussion online that the hackers seemed to have only gained access to some website servers of Nintendo. And a few days later, Nintendo responded to an interview request with Japanese website, the Senkai Shimbun, and confirmed that that is in fact the case. The site reports Nintendo's official statement, quote, "We have not confirmed any leak of personal information, and there has been no leak of development or business information." And then the site adds, "Some external servers that display Nintendo's website were defaced, but the company said there was no evidence of damage to customers or intrusion into the company."
So it sort of seems like they, yes, were hacked a little bit, but like not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think that the hack itself was the work of Ares Athena and Caius from Tron Ares?
Now that's a little tease for our Patreon episode because yeah, of course
it must have
of
been.
course I think it was the Dillinger organization. Bloomberg reports that Nintendo has asked its suppliers to boost production of Switch 2s to 25 million units by the end of March 2026. Reminder that Nintendo's official sales target through like the end of March is 15 million sold. That's what they've said they're aiming for. So Bloomberg kind of says like, so they have their 15 million official forecast, but they think that Nintendo's aiming for 20 million, and then they would have this extra 5 million to stockpile for the next fiscal year.
Yeah, then that makes sense, right? Like, if they're gonna want to sell a lot of these things over time. So their sales target through the end of the year is still holding it at 15.
That's
they're not
the
revising
last that
Okay.
Nintendo. I mean, they usually say that when they do like an earnings report, and I can't remember. I'm not sure when the next one we'll get is. I think before the end of the year, but or maybe.
Well, did we get one for the end of the last quarter?
Well, let's see. It was like April, May, June, and then I think in August they had their earnings
Right.
report. So
maybe
so
sometime-
July, August, September. So maybe sometime in November we'll get
sure
the next earnings report.
It's so funny to see numbers like 15 million where you're like, oh yeah, this thing's just start. Switch 1 sold so many where it's just like, oh yeah, okay, this thing is just starting its journey.
Right, yeah. Like 15 million sold would be a strong number. It's what the Switch sold in its like first fiscal year. And then
by this time in the Switch 1's life cycle, I had only bought one Switch. Eventually I bought 3.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You bought a Lite. I know.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about like what would a potential Switch 2 revision look like? Do they revise down? Do they revise up? Are we gonna get a little bit of all of it?
It's a great question, and I like that there have been no like this maybe for the first time since the Switch existed, I've not heard any rumors or speculation or even people asking for a Switch 2 Pro or like a Switch 2 revision of some kind.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I feel like well, anyways, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future. But I do think it's a little too early to be talking about
I agree. Yeah.
Revisions. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how much of these they can sell through the holidays, because the Mario Kart World Bundle doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and they have this Pokemon bundle out there.
Right.
So, they're just being really aggressive with getting as many Switch 2s out there as possible.
Yeah, I guess like overall I'm curious what the like holiday season brings for video game and console sales. Just cuz like, the economy is what the economy is. And like I don't know, it feels like there's just uncertainty out there generally speaking. And I don't like, are people spending that money on video games and video game stuff? Like I think the game fans are, but I don't know if it's like reaching beyond, that kind of garden of people who are going to be interested in it anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's Nintendo's real challenge, right? You don't sell 100 and 20 million consoles if you aren't able to breach outside of just
Right.
like video game fans.
And does a new Mario movie next year accomplish that at all?
Right.
Do we know when that movie's? There's a date for that, right?
I want to say it's April, but
That seems like kind of soon, doesn't it?
yeah,
When do we find out more about that Mario movie? Do you think
January.
January?
Probably
Okay.
like the January direct.
They're just gonna wait. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh man, I wish they would just announce these things on their own. I don't.
Well, maybe they will now
Maybe they will,
because
right.
we had that big blowout the first time as part of a Nintendo Direct
Right.
with all the cast and everything, and then I think after that they started doing like Mario movie directs.
Right, but the last time we did hear about Super Mario Galaxy movie was during the previous Nintendo Direct.
But only because they had games to,
That's true.
or that's my
And an
assumption anyways,
anniversary,
because they had
right.
like games and everything to associate it with. But yeah, it does. April is not that far away,
Yeah.
so assuming that is the release date, I
I'm
just kind of
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. Let's see. Finally, Viz Media has announced that they'll be releasing a paperback version of the book Ask Iwata, which is a book compiling insights from interviews with former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata into a motivational collection. And I bought the hardcover version of this.
Yeah.
I think in like 2020. And it's a nice read, I think is how I would put it. It goes into details of like Iwata starting at HAL Laboratory and how he became president there and some of the challenges that the company faced and that he faced and his philosophy and all that kind of stuff. So it's not a super long book, and uh but it's an enjoyable read if you are
Yeah.
interested in learning more about kind of like him and his philosophies. So the paperback version is going to be released sometime in summer 2026, and the book is edited by Hobonichi, which is a company that was founded by Shigesato Itoi, who is the creator of like the Mother series and had a very close relationship with Satoru Iwata.
That's nice. I like that. The Super Mario Galaxy movie, April 3rd next year. So like
Okay.
early April.
Yeah.
We don't even know who like the rest of the cast is for it.
No.
We don't know if Spike is returning.
Yeah. I'm sure. What do we think? Jenny Ortega as
Rosalina.
as Rosalina?
Sure. It could be
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter is probably Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande
That's what I would do. I would do Ariana Grande. I would ride that wicked.
Already has a relationship with Universal / Illumination.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Or just like an AI voice. Or okay, do we think there are going to be other like announcements, like cast announcements, outside of Rosalina? Like, are we meeting other characters in space?
I think so. I think they'll flesh it out in and I mean maybe there will be more returning characters from your first movie, but yeah, I think we still don't know who's voicing Yoshi.
Well, hold on though. Do you think Yoshi talks?
I do. I wouldn't bet a significant amount of money, but I would bet money that Yoshi's going to talk.
Okay, do his voice. Do Yoshi's voice. Like, tell me how he talks.
I don't know. I think he's going to be voiced by a celebrity.
Do you think he's going to be like, "Hey Mario, what's going on?"
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
You don't think they're just going to like treat him like a horse?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would love to be wrong, but no, I think Yoshi's going to speak.
Yeah. I guess like everything else speaks, right?
Yeah.
Although we like the Goombas don't talk.
The
right?
Goombas don't talk. The I don't think that the like Koopa Troopas talked.
Yeah, I don't remember, but that feels.
Or maybe they did.
Maybe maybe they do.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the penguins talked.
Right.
Right. Is that scene at the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know, but you're right. April's not that far away. So
April is not that far.
We'll probably find out sooner rather than later.
All right, Mark. Let's get out of the news. Okay, and that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you are not in the Discord already, email us. We'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8BitBetty. You can get more of his music by going to 8BitBetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.